chocolate mousse cake is made up of layers of cake and chocolate mousse and can be either frosted or topped with a glaze. This dessert has an impressive presentation and can be a standout item in a bake shop or restaurant. To assemble the mousse cake, start by placing a ring mold on top of a cake circle. Add a layer of cake at the bottom of the ring mold, being sure it is flush with the bottom. Next, pipe a layer of mousse from the outside in, trying to make it even throughout the layer. If you need to fill in a little more, just use your offset spatula, add it, and then spread it in. This helps with a small offset. Just hold it nice and level. Use your turntable to help it spin while you flatten and push the mousse. After the first layer of mousse, carefully add another layer of cake. Press down gently to adhere the bottom to the mousse. Repeat this stacking with the desired amount of layers, finishing the top layer with mousse. After the cake is assembled, place it in the freezer overnight. This ensures that it will retain its structure. Once the cake is frozen overnight, remove it from the freezer. Use a torch around the edge of the cake just enough to separate the ring mold from the cake. After unmolding, it's time to prepare the mirror glaze. Add the cold water to a mixing bowl and sprinkle the gelatin over it. Stir together until it begins to thicken, then let it set for a few minutes until it resembles applesauce. Next, on the stove, add the water, sugar, and condensed milk and vanilla to a pot, stirring to combine. Once everything is in the pot, bring the heat up to medium and bring the liquids to a gentle simmer. When the liquids reach a light simmer, turn off the heat and stir in the bloom gelatin. It will appear fluid and pourable. After the gelatin is incorporated, pass the mixture through a sieve to be sure the glaze is completely smooth. Next, place the chocolate in a bowl and then pour the hot liquid mixture over it. Stir gently with a spatula until it begins to melt. Do not use a whisk, as it's important to avoid introducing any air bubbles. Check to make sure there aren't any lumps of chocolate behind. Once it's smooth, you're ready to go. When the chocolate is fully melted, the whole mixture should be smooth and uniform. At this point, if desired, food coloring can be added to the glaze. To make a marbled look, divide the glaze into different bowls and then gently combine and swirl before pouring it. Once the glaze is colored, allow it to cool to the target temperature range between 90 and 94 degrees. After the glaze has cooled and the cake is unmolded, it's ready to be glazed. Prepare the cake by setting a smaller sized cake pan underneath it, flipped upside down, and set it on a clean sheet pan. It's also a good idea to have a spatula on standby for touching up the glaze. Next, to pour the glaze, use a continuous circular motion from the center and move outward as needed. Be sure to coat the top and the sides completely. If you need to, just use a little dab, touch it up, make sure you check all the way around quickly. Give the pan a little vibration, help settle out any bubbles. We can add a little bit of gold dust across the top. Chase it with a little torch. Then check around the bottom edge. You can just use your offset spatula, clean up that edge. After the glaze has set, transfer it to a cake board or platter. Keep chilled in the refrigerator to defrost it before slicing and serving. Mousse cake is a light dessert that isn't overly sweet or covered in heavy frosting. It can be varied by adding fresh fruit or even made in individual portions for a fast plated dessert. Mousse cake is a luxurious dessert that has an eye-catching, beautiful presentation.